get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day as well. Also, if you guys are tuning in and this is currently a Wednesday for you guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. All right, with that being said, though, let's get right to it. I want to make sure the audio was on because obviously last time that did not happen a couple weeks ago. So let's get right back to it, though. Obviously, if you guys are tuning in currently and it is a Wednesday, hope you guys are having a great start to you guys' day. If you guys are wrapping your day up with me here now today on this live, on this Tuesday, hope you guys have had a great day. Let's end this day special. So I'm going to be getting into a lot of topics in regards to boxing today. I'll have guests back on the show starting on tomorrow's show. And tomorrow's show actually will be early, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is in 12 hours. So make sure to tune back in 12 hours. However, if you guys have any comments, topics, or questions for me to talk about on today's show, leave it in the chat. I'll make sure to address them as I go throughout the duration of tonight's show. Let's get right to it, though. I'm going to kick the show off with none other than talking about the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis press conferences and announcements that came out. I was quite critical on yesterday's show in regards to the press conference that started off the tour run for Tank Davis and Jake Paul. To be honest, yesterday I thought it was a pathetic press conference. I thought it was horribly ran. I didn't think there was any energy. In fact, I actually thought it hurt the fight. Today was much different. And as I said, I've never been somebody that's a big fan of press conferences. Listen, I'm not somebody that likes to go see the show stuff. I don't like entertainment. All I want to go out there and watch the fights. That's just the way I am, but I understand the process of building up fights with the press conferences. So, not against it. And I will say this. Today's press conference did the job that they were intended to do. I felt like there was a lot more energy. Both Jake Paul and Tank Davis went back and forth. It was a lot more organized. Tank Davis had the very fake, drawn out, scripted push, but it is what it is. It makes a lot of clicks and stuff along those lines. This was a much better job in terms of press conference, where I felt like it built the fight up a little bit more. That being said, though, let's just keep it real. For those of us that are going to watch this fight on Netflix come November, this is not going to be a real fight. I'm going to say this every time I talk about this fight. We cannot look at this fight and expect it to be some form of a legitimate fight. Did you see the height differences? It is a joke. I'm just going to keep it out there. It is what it is. But that's why I'm inclined to really discuss what I want to talk about on today's show in regards to Jake Paul, Tank Davis. And this is what I have said since the beginning. Will the undercard at least be good? The main event will take care of itself. It's going to be what it is. Who cares? What will the undercard bring? Today, we had a lot more clarity. I see your comment, Mark. I'm going to go elaborate that and bring that on the screen momentarily. The undercard for Jake Paul, Tank Davis, at least the main card, is phenomenal. Jake Paul, Tank Davis will headline the card. I just said, take it as you want. Then we're going to have Alicia Baumgardner fighting Leila Bedrouan. 12 minutes. And here's the big deal. It's 12 rounds and 3-minute rounds. So 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds. What does that remind you of? That is the men's style fights. And this makes a lot more sense. Remember, she just a couple days ago, she had to vacate her WBC World Championship, and we now have more clarity. And she emphasized this during the press conference. The WBC did not support her doing this. I am a fan. I do not mind the 10 rounds for 2 minutes long. I feel like it's perfect for women's boxing. It does its job. However, I'd be lying if I didn't want to say, what would they look like? How capable are they of doing 12 rounds over the duration of 3 minutes per round? And Alicia Baumgardner decided to say, you know what? I'm going to go out there and defend my other belts with this different rule set. Let's see how it looks. So massive hats off to her. Much respect for taking this fight, taking on this opportunity. And I'm honestly very excited to see what it looks like. Ella Scottney, she's going to be returning her fight against Flores as well. And here's the one I really love. Gary Antoine Russell, Andy Hiriaka. This is the fight that I love seeing. It has been rumored for quite some time that Gary Antoine Russell would either be doing a unification fight or doing this fight right here. I love this. Absolutely love this fight right here. Personally, Gary Antoine Russell is a man that I believe has all the talent in the world to be an exceptional fighter. Really make a lot of his mark, leave a lot of a mark on the boxing scene throughout his career. His biggest problem has been this: inactivity. He had that dominating performance where he took absolutely zero damage against Rayo earlier this year. He has not fought since that point in time. I thought he should have fought sometime this summer. It is what it is. The business side of boxing gets messy sometimes. But here we go. He is returning in November to fight Andy Hiriaka. I see your comment, Mark. I'm going to pull it up on the screen in 1 second so everyone else can see it as well. Right there. We should have that up on the screen now. So, yes, I 100% agree. This will be a good fight. I do favor Gary Antoine Russell. If I were to put money on this fight right now, I'm going to go with Gary Antoine Russell in this performance. I think he is an exceptional fighter. And also, Hiriaka is not somebody that's very active either. He's been outside the ring quite a bit. I think this will be a very good fight. But as I said, I do have Gary Antoine Russell winning this fight at the moment. We'll see what happens, though. But this is an incredible way. If this is what kicks off the main card, I'm ecstatic for that. I think this is going to be a good night of boxing. Obviously, as I said, you take what you want to do with Tank Davis, Jake Paul. But everything else coming together on this card is looking quite well. A great platform on Netflix. And listen, here's a hypothetical world. I'm just going to place it out there. For Gary Antoine Russell, he's going to have the largest audience he's ever had for a fight in his entire career. If he goes out there and puts on a performance even near the realm of what he did against Rayo, he could have his name elevate drastically overnight and put himself in position for a massive unification fight, move up in weight class, whatever the case may be. And that's what I love about these Netflix cards. A lot of the time, these Netflix cards do not have the best main event, especially when Jake Paul's involved. However, with that being said, the undercards have always delivered. We have always had good fights. Even going back to what happened on the Canelo Bud Crawford card, we had a lot of great fights. Was not a fan of the Fernando Vargas and Callum Walsh card or fight, but Christian Billy, Lester Martinez, fight of the year contender right there. We go back to what happened when we fought on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight card. We also had a lot of great fights on that undercard as well. None other than Cade Taylor Serrano. Also had Barrios go out there and fight Ramos as well. So I'm ecstatic for this undercard. I think this helped a lot here as well. Let's see the other comment we got here from Mark. Andy's last fight was over a year ago on the Inoue versus Doheny against Burroughs. Yes, absolutely. That's what I was talking about a little moment ago. That is what I think is going to hurt him. Gary Antoine Russell has not been the most active man in the world, but he's not been as inactive as him. So this is something where I think inactivity is going to be an interesting factor for both guys. But I do think Gary Antoine Russell is a phenomenal fighter. I will give him the edge here in this fight. But as I said, two exceptional fighters. And I think it's a great platform for both guys to hopefully grow their name exponentially and more people to get to know who these two guys are. All right, let's get into some other boxing news that we have here as well. Pull this down real quick. All right. JANIBEK-ADAMES talks come to a halt. And in just yesterday's show, I was talking about the fact that we have JANIBEK and Adames were in negotiations and nearing a deal potentially, according to JANIBEK's party at least, on a fight. And here we go again. It's this constant circular rotation of rumors, discussions, rumors, nearing deal, all things come apart, and then we renegotiate again in the future. It's getting tiring, guys. And I don't get what's the holdup right now. Here's the official news report. Talks for a unification bout between IBF and WBO champion JANIBEK and WBC champion Carlos Adames have stalled after plans to finalize the fight for November 22nd, Saudi Arabia fell through, as well as the January card underneath Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. Listen, this is it's disappointing. And I don't get why it's so hard. I seriously do not understand this. From boxing fan perspective, we all want to see this fight happen. From a casual fan standpoint, a lot of guys just don't know who these two guys are. Just being honest. They're phenomenal fighters, but neither guy has this great branding. And it is what it is. Just keeping it blunt, 100% honest with you guys. That being said, this should not require significant amounts of money to make this fight happen. Turki Al-Sheikh can make any fight in the world happen if he wants to make it. But he's not going to do something stupid for this fight right here. And if one of these two guys are demanding an insane amount of money for this fight, I think it's ridiculous. Now, I will say this. Do I get Carlos Adames' hesitancy to return to anything associated with Turki Al-Sheikh following the fight against Hamza Shiraz, which he clearly won? I get that. But at the same time, as a boxer, you have to understand this. This is a fight that every boxing fan wants to see at 160. It has been rumored for so much time. Can we just make the fight happen? I genuinely do not know who is holding up this fight, whether it is Carlos Adames or JANIBEK. I don't know who's holding it up. My assumption, just based upon the way Adames has talked about Turki Al-Sheikh, would be that he's hesitant to want to return to anything Turki Al-Sheikh related. But this fight needs to happen. Stop stalling. Neither guy needs to keep going around in circles trying to find a fight right now. There is one fight to make. 160 is a horrible weight class. Not a lot of depth. There are 3 champions currently, including Laura as well in this picture. Can somebody just go out there and unify? Can somebody unify? Any combination involving those 3 people would make for great fights. But yet 160 stall. Laura just does not want to get back in the ring and fight consistently. And JANIBEK and Adames have not fought for a long time either. And both guys are being pointed in each other to go out there and fight, but they won't make the fight happen. And so odds are we're going to have both guys go out there and do tune-up fights. And this entire process goes and restarts all over again. If I'm these two guys, at some point you have to realize, listen, we don't have any other options. You're not going to get a big bag fighting anybody else at 160. The only hypothetical possible option right now would be if Bud Crawford comes down to 160, or if Chris Eubank Jr. somehow in a miraculous way can make weight at 160, which I do not think would actually happen. Therefore, there's not a lot of big money fights to be made at 160. Your biggest chance to make money is doing a unification. Go out there and make it. This is not a weight class that has lots of great star power. Go make a big fight happen at 160. It's what the fans want. It's what you guys should want. I hope somebody wants to go undisputed possibly at 160. Go make it happen. Stop stalling. Whoever is doing it on whichever party, just make the fight happen. It's going on way too long without this fight getting made. Hopefully, they can renegotiate and Turkey can get this fight done and cross the finish line, and it can be the co-main event for Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. If not, I just don't know if this fight will ever happen. And if that's the honest truth, hopefully we have somebody like Bud Crawford come into 160 and can tear it all up and become undisputed. I don't know what it's going to take, but right now, 160 is not a deep weight class, and all the champions currently, whoever's at fault for it, is only hurting the weight class more because nobody's moving. It is a stagnant weight class with no depth, no talent, and no buzz, to be quite frankly honest. Change needs to happen at 160. Xander Zayas has rejected top-ranked stablemate Giovanni Santillan as an opponent for his first title defense in January in Puerto Rico. All right. I'm going to say the second part to that headline momentarily. This intrigues me. And honestly, I give lots of respect to him. And why? Because of this. He is now seeking a unification match against new WBA champion Abass Baraou. This is a little bit shocking to me. Now, on two parts, I'm going to give both sides of the story. On the first part, I've been somebody that's been a big advocate for this standpoint, saying this. Xander Zayas is currently the youngest world champion in boxing. If this man wants to go fight in his home and do a tune-up fight as his first title defense, I understand it. I've got no problems with that. Why? Because he's the youngest world champion in the world. He's earned it. He's worked his way up. He's become world champion. Let him just go have a fight where he can go defend his belt at home. No problem with that. And then after that, we can put the pressure on him to go fight a Vergil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, unify with Sebastian Fundora, whatever the case may be. But, and I was all for that. If he wanted to go fight Santillan, I was all for it. I talked about that. I was all for the fight when that was rumored last week. But now, he wants to go out there and make a unification with Abass Baraou. Now, I will be honest with you guys. Is Abass Baraou even a top 10 talented fighter right now at 154? You can debate that. We're talking about the most deep weight class in all boxing right now. He's probably in that group as he is a world champion, but I think you can make a debate that there's a lot of guys at 154 right now. Where do you rank him? He's not very high up there. So if you are Xander Zayas and you could become a unified world champion while being the youngest world champion in all boxing, that would do wonders for your career. And a guy like Abass Baraou, I put him in as a favor against Abass Baraou. That would be huge for himself. Now, Abass Baraou, I don't think would come very expensive either. He is a world champion, but still, I feel like if Top Rank can get this stuff together, can get a TV deal in place for December, January, or February, this would be a perfect main event to have happen. Xander Zayas could be the youngest world champion in the world with 2 belts, and at that point in time, you then turn in and go fight a Vergil Ortiz, a Boots Ennis, and you get that massive payday while defending your 2 belts. So, much respect to Xander Zayas. I would not mind that fight getting made. It would be very intriguing. I know that the Abass Baraou fight, obviously, Abass Baraou is kind of pinpointing himself getting ready for Boots Ennis if Boots Ennis wins on November 11th. We'll see what happens there. I think the payday would be much more large with Boots Ennis, but we'll see what happens there. Lots of options on the table, but I will say this. Massive props to Xander Zayas for that. The WBC has now officially ordered a fight between Tenshin Nasukawa and Takuma Inoue for the WBC bantamweight title vacated by Junji Nakatani. This was rumored and expected, I should say, as of 2 weeks ago when I first brought this up. Amazing fight. And I've been quite high on Tenshin Nasukawa. I think this is a man that will become a world champion in the near future. I think he's the next superstar coming out of Japan. Seeing him right here is going to be phenomenal. I love this fight right here. This is going to be a fight that, I'll be honest, I wake up for every Japanese card that's on television anyways. Just going to keep it blunt with you guys. So I'd be up anyways. But this is a fight that I'd get super excited for. Sometimes I wake up in the morning to go watch the Japan cards or Australian cards. And I'm a little bit tired in the morning, to be honest. It's hard to get that energy. For this one, I'm hyped. This is going to be phenomenal. If you don't know who Tenshin Nasukawa is yet, I'd go watch him. The jump that this man has made in such a short time period is absolutely phenomenal. He's one of the most entertaining fighters in Japan right now. He's young, he's up and coming, rising, athletic. He has the entire embodiment of a superstar in terms of the persona, the character, all those different aspects. A high character guy. This is a man that I think has a chance to become Japan's next superstar. And that is saying something. We're talking about the country that has Junta Nagatani, Inoue, so on and so forth. Teraji, obviously, this goes on and on. He has a chance to do that. But here's the fun part. He's not fighting no scrub. Takuma Inoue is another incredible fighter who obviously suffered a loss before, but now he's rebuilt himself back up. This is a fight that I think everybody should wake up and go out there and watch. It will be phenomenal. I'm not sure exactly when the fight will get announced in terms of the date when it'll come out. I have to imagine it will probably be by the end of the year, early 2026. But regardless, this is going to be an incredible fight. I see another comment from Mark. Let me pull it up on the screen real quick. Yes, absolutely. The announcement should have officially come out. I know it already came out. I saw on X by the WBC saying that they're going to announce it, but I don't know when the exact date will be announced in terms of the card and all this stuff. We'll see what happens. But yes, this card right here, absolutely phenomenal. I'm hyped for this fight to have happen. All right, let's go into the next thing. This is very interesting news that came out today. Britain's Jack Catterall is preparing to announce the in-demand Derek Bozy Ennis as his new trainer and will be moving stateside to the United States of America to start training for him. I love it. So we saw news come out, I think 2 or 3 weeks now, that Jack Catterall was changing trainers and his coaching staff. And I said this, much respect for him for doing that. It is a hard decision. He was with that group for his entire career. It was a challenging move to make. But at some point in your career, for a lot of guys, if not all guys, there comes a time when you have to do what's best for yourself. And I've been quite critical of Jack Catterall. I've said the obvious. He is a talented fighter. He has a chance to be a world champion. He is a good fighter. But something is lacking in Jack Catterall. Something is holding him back. And I don't know exactly what that is. But something could have changed to make him better. And I love this decision right here. Sometimes you have to make the hard moves to become the best fighter possible. And if you are Jack Catterall, saying, you know what, I'm going to move away from what I'm familiar with. I'm going to go to Bozy Ennis, who is one of the best trainers in all boxing right now. And I'm going to put myself in an awkward, uncomfortable situation to hopefully tap into that untapped potential, I think is a brilliant move. What I'm interested in is this, though. Bozy Ennis' fighters typically are much more aggressive. They're always on the attack. They like to go up there and be the attacker. For Jack Catterall, he's much more of a counter puncher, guy that likes to go sit back on defense a little bit, does not like to be on the attack very often. Part of which is why a lot of people regard him as a very unappealing, unentertaining fighter. So I'm interested to see how these two styles mix. If you're going to go to Bozy Ennis, and Bozy can tap into a more attacking mindset for Jack Catterall, make him be something that's more a pressure fighter, I think that could do wonders for his career. Because Jack Catterall has reached kind of a stagnant standpoint in my eyes. Where, as I said, he's a good contender, somebody that's not an easy fight to go up against, but I feel like there's something left in him that he could reach another threshold and possibly make that jump into becoming world champion. But he's going to need the right people to do so. And if anybody can do it, it would be Bozy Ennis. So I think for Jack Catterall's standpoint, him making this move for his career is going to do wonders for it. And I'm excited. I cannot wait to see how they look together. I cannot wait to see the progress that happens. I love this decision by Jack Catterall, and I can't wait to see what these two guys do with Bozy Ennis. Nicklaus Flaz-Delante Johnson, obviously known as Tiger Johnson, is set to headline a November 7th ProBox TV event. Love it. Now, once again, another one of Top Rank's top prospects is going to have to go fight another card, another promotion, because Top Rank can get this stuff together. Hopefully they get it figured out someday, but that means that they're not going to have a TV deal in place as of November. Mind-boggling, I know, but it is what it is. Let's continue, though. Great fight here. For Tiger Johnson, he is putting himself in an interesting position here. Flaz is a great fighter. I've had him on the show before. A very good fighter, very entertaining fighter, a rising contender, top 10 in multiple different bodies right now. He is a man that's probably 2 or 3 fights out from possibly getting a world title shot. Getting Tiger Johnson would be a good fight on his resume, would be a good young fighter to possibly go up there and fight against. And for Tiger Johnson, if you pull off this upset, this would do wonders for your career. It would probably elevate you into right around the top 15 in the rankings and would put you in great position. I love this idea for both parties. This is going to be a great fight on ProBox TV. Shakur Stevenson and Ryan Garcia have had a heated exchange earlier today. I'm not going to go out there and post all the different stuff that came from the back and forth on X. However, they were going back and forth. And it just makes me wonder this. Obviously, Shakur Stevenson should have all of his attention on Teofimo Lopez for January. I think Shakur will win that fight, but by no means is it going to be an easy fight. But what I'm interested in is this. Let's look at from a fan standpoint. I don't have to get ready for a fight on January. Let's look at this post-fight. If I do believe, and I do, that Shakur Stevenson defeats Teofimo Lopez, becomes champion at 140, what would be next for this man? You could go back down to 135, fight a LAMONT ROACH, If Tank Davis is there, that's a hypothetical. But most likely you're at 140. You could unify with Hitchens. I think he already said he's not going to go at 140. So does he possibly go make a jump to 147? 147 is a very bad weight class, but with a lot of big names. Manny Pacquiao is one of them. Ron Garcia is another one. Conor Benn's another one. A lot more money is at 147. If you are Shakur Stevenson, a fight against Ron Garcia would be huge. I think that you're going to see a fight currently between Ron Garcia and Devin Haney in place. If Haney goes out there and defeats Brian Norman Jr., I feel there's too much money in that rematch. I think that's what they will do. However, a Shakur-Ron Garcia fight would be very interesting. I think Shakur Stevenson would pick him apart, and he would easily win that fight. But you still have to think, if Ron Garcia can get himself back and get that right mentality, the attacking Ron Garcia, the complete opposite of what we saw on when he fought on the Cinco de Mayo weekend, I think that could be a fun fight. The build-up would be very interesting, very entertaining. And for Shakur Stevenson, the biggest thing that man is lacking is not what his ability is inside of the ring. We know he's got that taken care of. It's how does he brand himself, his name, his image outside of the ring. And a fight against Ron Garcia could do wonders for his career. So I'd love to see that fight. I would not be surprised to see that fight get made either. Adam Azim is being rumored to face Michael Rivera on November 15th in London as part of the CRUZ Eubank Jr-Conor Benn 2 undercard. This would be huge. I've been very critical of Ben Shalom's handling of Adam Azim. I'm still shocked that Adam Azim is back with Boxer to begin with. However, if Ben Shalom can pull this off and get his man onto this fight card with CRUZ Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, it would do massive things for his career. Adam Azim is a rising prospect, one of the most entertaining prospects out there in boxing right now. And if you don't know him, I'd look into him. He has all the skill set and intangibles to be a top contender in the near future and possibly challenge for a world championship. But a lot of people don't know him. He's been not active. He's been put in a position from a promotional standpoint that's done horrible things for him in the past year. If he can get on this undercard, which will be one of the biggest fights in the UK in a very long time, obviously coming off the first fight, I think it'd be huge for him. So I would love to see Adam Azim return to the ring. I think that would be absolute massive for his career if they can make that fight happen. Also, according to boxing promoter Ben Shalom, a heavyweight showdown between Joe Joyce and Richard Riepor could potentially land on the Eubank Conor Benn undercard as well. Another solid heavyweight fight for Joe Joyce. If he wants to keep fighting, keep doing it, I've been very open about this. I think he should move on from boxing. He has taken too much damage. No point continuing this right now. However, if he wants to continue going down boxing, so be it. Go do you. But that would be a solid fight for Joe Joyce and hopefully a fight he could actually win. And last but not least, unless I have any more comments in the comment section, is this. Pitbull CRUZ, Lamont Roach is being planned for a date in December, either December 6th or December 20th on PBC pay-per-view. Hats off to Lamont CRUZ. This was pretty much already set to going to happen as of last week, but let me just emphasize this. Lamont CRUZ is getting himself into a trap situation. And I respect him for doing that. Pitbull CRUZ is not an easy man to go out there and fight. This is a man that's been a world champion. This is a man that is a tough fight. When you fight Pitbull CRUZ, you know you're going to go into a war. You know it's going to be a tough, brutal fight. And for Lamont Roach, you're moving up weight classes once again to 140. And on top of that, you're fighting a man in Pitbull CRUZ. This is going to be interesting. If I were to make my way too early prediction, I would say Lamont Roach wins this fight. But it is a trap. For Lamont Roach, he wanted a big payday, and he knew he was not going to get that unless it was against a guy like Pitbull CRUZ. And this is not quite the tune-up fight, though. Originally, when Lamont Roach was talking about his next fight, it was going to be as a tune-up fight in preparation for that big fight he wants to have next year. If this is the situation at hand, though, he might not come out victorious against Pitbull CRUZ. This is a tough fight, an interesting fight, but I love the idea right here. So we'll see what happens. I'll obviously let you guys know when the fight gets officially announced in terms of the date, but I absolutely love this fight getting made. I think it's a very interesting fight. And if Lamont Roach can go out and pull off a year where he was 130 champion, moved up to 135, should have beat Tank Davis, but at the end of the day, he drew a Tank Davis, and then moved up to 140 and fights Pitbull CRUZ, you're talking about one of the most successful years he could have ever asked for. One heck of a year by Lamont Roach. I think he could finish off with massive fireworks in December if that's the route he takes. So with that being said, I don't see any more comments in the comment section. So I will be back live, as I said, in under 12 hours now. 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I have a very special guest. One of the top managers in boxing will be on the show, who I will be announcing here in the morning, my time. So I will see you guys back live in 12 hours, just under 12 hours. I hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day, or have a great day as you guys are in current, whatever you guys are in Tuesday or Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your guys' day. I will see you guys back live in 12 hours. May God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. God bless you guys.